I am here at Uruguay Square in central Athens. Uruguay Square, Plaza Uruguay. Right up here is a statue of José Artigas, Libertador de Uruguay. Libertador de Uruguay. All right. Nice statue. I like this statue. So let's talk about some news. Let's do a news update here. And the first story I want to update has to do with Odessa and the missile strike on a port in Odessa. We have some statements from Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and I believe he was giving a press conference during a meeting he had with the Congolese, I believe the ambassador of Congo, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, here's what Lavrov said. There is nothing in the food deal that would prohibit the Russian Federation from continuing the special operation. Russia, within the framework of the grain deal, did not assume obligations that prevented the continuation of a special military operation and the destruction of military infrastructure. And after the strike on the port of Odessa, harpoons do not pose a threat to the Russian Federation, the Harpoon missiles. So that is Lavrov pretty much saying that, yes, they signed the deal. The deal said to not do anything with regards to the Odessa port for 120 days. But Lavrov is saying in his statement that there is nothing in the food deal that prohibits the Russian Federation from continuing its special military operation. I take that to read that, yes, the Russian military isn't going to do anything with regards to Odessa port and the export of grain, but it doesn't mean that military activity has to stop in and around Odessa, especially with regards to taking out military infrastructure. And in this case, Lavrov does indeed confirm that Russia did manage to take out those Harpoon wonder weapons that we were hearing so much talk about maybe like a month ago. Before the HIMARS replaced them as the wonder weapon, it was the Harpoons. So we got some more clarification from the Russian foreign minister. According to him, and he has obviously studied the agreement and signed the agreement, this was not a violation of that agreement. So that is the update with regards to the missile strike in Odessa and the grain deal with regards to the Odessa port. We also have an update with the military activity in Kherson, and we have some news coming from the Victoria Nuland Kagan neocon-funded Institute of War. And they are claiming that Ukrainian officials are increasingly acknowledging a counteroffensive in the Kherson region, and that in the past week, in preparation for this counteroffensive, Ukrainian strikes have damaged all 3 Russian-controlled bridges leading to the city of Kherson. Now, me and Alexander, we have a video that's gonna go up on the Duran probably tomorrow, and we discuss this counteroffensive and these 3 bridges, which are Russian-controlled and are vital for the Russian military in terms of logistics and supply lines. And strategically, it's correct that the Ukraine military would want to take those bridges out. But as Alexander points out in the video that will go up tomorrow, these bridges are very, very difficult to destroy. Bridges are not easy to destroy, and you need to really hit them with a lot of power and consistently over many, many days in order to completely take the bridges out of commission. And we're actually getting reports that the Russians They have engineering teams. They have teams already there at these bridges that were attacked by the Ukraine military. They're already fixing up some of the holes and the damage caused by these missile strikes, which were not enough to destroy these bridges and to knock them out. Did they do damage to the bridges? Yes. But did they take out the bridges, and are the bridges now unable to act as vital supply routes, supply lines for the Russian military? No. And the key statement in the Institutes for the Study of War, the key word that they use is that the Ukraine strikes have damaged all 3 Russian-controlled bridges. They don't get into a little more detail to say, yes, there were some HIMARS missile strikes that hit these bridges or in and around these bridges, and there was some damage, but it was not nearly enough to destroy these bridges or to make these bridges not functional. So that is the key takeaway from this statement from the Institute of Study of War, which is trying to paint a more positive picture of the Ukraine preparation for the counteroffensive, the Ukraine military's preparation for the counteroffensive, than what is really taking place. And that is that Ukraine is using the HIMARS. They are trying to take out these bridges, but they are failing. And the counteroffensive, from what we're understanding, is also failing before it even really gets started. We're getting lots of reports that the Ukraine military, they're trying to get a counteroffensive going, but the Russians can just continue to beat them back, and then to inflict terrible damage, terrible casualties to the Russian forces that are trying to break through into Kherson. Now, why is this happening? This is happening because the Ukraine military, the Zelensky regime, NATO, and the US and the EU, they want to disrupt the planned referendums in Kherson and in the regions in the south of Ukraine, which are slated for various referendums to enter the Russian Federation. So they want to disrupt those. But more importantly, we're getting reports that the Ukraine military is starting to even divert resources and forces away from Donbass and towards Kherson to try and get this thing going, because if the Russians do manage to get these referendums underway, then this is something that you're not going to be able to hide from the collective West mainstream media. In other words, if Ukraine does not somehow or some way score some sort of win, some sort of strategic win in the next month, while the Russians continue to gain territory in Donbass, eventually liberate Donetsk, and at the same time have referendums where the people of Kherson vote to join the Russian Federation, which would entail all types of celebrations, videos of cars driving down the streets, holding flags, honking horns, then you're going to create so much doubt for the collective West's support for Ukraine amongst the citizens of the collective West that the entire project is certain to collapse. Because people living in the United States, people living in Europe, what are they going to see? They're going to see that Russia has gained more territory in Donetsk and has now liberated the Donbass. They're going to see that the areas controlled by Russia have held referendums and now are going to join the Russian Federation. And they're going to see via social media all kinds of videos and photos very much along the lines of what happened in Crimea, of people gathering on squares, driving their cars, honking their horns, waving flags, and giving the message out that we don't want to be part of Ukraine, we want to be part of Russia. And citizens of the collective West, for example, me in Greece, I'm going to be taking a look at these images and I'm going to say, what the hell are we giving money to the Zelensky regime for when these people in Kherson want to be part of the Russian Federation? Look at them. They're happy. They're celebrating. They want to be part of Russia. So why do we continue with this this support of Zelensky and Ukraine? You see what's going to happen? And that is why you're seeing such a panic to try and disrupt the referendum and to try and gain some territory in Kherson and to try and score some sort of strategic win. Because if they don't get a strategic win now, then in the next 30 days, the narrative is going to turn really, really ugly for the EU, the United States, and NATO. So that is an update with stuff going on in the military in Ukraine. Let's do a quick update with regards to gas and what's going on with the EU and their gas crisis. So the European Union is coming out with claims saying that they have found an alternative to Russian gas, and it's going to be in the form of LNG imports from Nigeria. LNG from Nigeria is going to solve the dependable, cheap Russian pipeline gas that was flowing through Nord Stream 1 at 100% capacity. Now it's at 40% capacity, though I have read that the Russians have received, finally, the documentation from Siemens with regards to this turbine, and they're going to look everything over and probably get everything back up to 100%, I would imagine. Let's give it a few more days. Let's see what happens there. But the Russians have indeed confirmed that they've received the documentation and the paperwork for this turbine. Anyway, the European Union, they're saying that they have a gas substitute in the form of LNG from Nigeria. You see, here's the EU's problem. Their problem is twofold. The first problem is that at any moment in time, Russia could shut off the gas to the European Union and cause an economic collapse in the EU. So that's the first problem, is that Russia can turn off the gas to Europe. The second problem is that the only alternative to Russian gas, the only alternative is LNG via ship, which is not dependable, which takes time, and which is so freaking expensive. This is their problem. And factories now that relied on cheap Russian gas and it gave them that competitive advantage in the world market are now going to have to rely on undependable, very, very expensive LNG. And there's not enough LNG ships in the world to supply Europe. That's their other problem. But even if there was enough LNG tankers to be running back and forth to the ports of Europe, and let's say Europe even had the LNG ports already built, which they don't, but let's just assume that they have all the infrastructure built as well, it would still not be as good as the Russian gas, because the Russian gas is dependable, reliable, and above all else, it is cheap. Fast, easy, dependable, and cheap. The LNG is none of those things. None of those things. And like I said, they don't even have the infrastructure for LNG ports. There's not enough LNG tankers in the world to supply the EU's needs. But the European Union continues to gaslight its citizens with these ridiculous claims that they have found viable substitutes. About 2 months ago, it was Qatar. It was Habek flying off to Qatar and saying I've solved the problem. I found a replacement for LNG, and that is going to come from Qatar. And then the Qataris said, Halbeck, are you out of your freaking mind? Yeah, we'll sell you LNG on the spot market. It's going to be super expensive, and we don't really have enough to replace 1/100th of what you get from Russia. But, be our guest. Go on the spot markets, pick up some LNG from us, and, we'll get it out to you when we get it out to you. That was pretty much what Qatar said. And that is exactly what Nigeria is going to say. So the EU is planning to increase liquefied natural gas imports from Nigeria amid concerns that supply from Russia may be cut, according to the Deputy Director General of the European Commission's Energy Department. A quote from Matthew Baldwin, the Director of European Energy. Europe is in a tight spot in relation to gas, following the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the instability in our gas market and the threat of cutting off supply altogether. So we have launched the Energy Platform Task Force, and the primary goal is to reach out to our reliable partners, such as Nigeria, to replace the gas from Russia with gas from reliable partners. We want to expand what is currently a 40% share of total LNG imports from Nigeria. We want that to go up, Baldwin was quoted as saying. I love how he says in his quote that this crisis is caused by the Russian invasion from Ukraine. No, this crisis was not caused by Russia's invasion from Ukraine. This crisis was caused by the EU's bonehead move to sanction Russia under the belief that you would get some sort of regime change in the Kremlin. That is what has caused this problem. Your 7 rounds of sanctions, which have boomeranged right back to sink your European Union economies. Not the invasion itself. The EU's terrible strategy in dealing with the invasion is what has caused this energy crisis. And Nigerian LNG is not going to solve this crisis. Nigeria is going to tell the EU, listen up, Mr. Baldwin, go back to your boss, Ursula von der Crazy, and tell her we are happy to sell you LNG and to increase our LNG supply to Europe. Be our guest and purchase LNG on the spot markets, and we'll ship it out to you when we ship it out to you. Something along those lines. That's pretty much what Nigeria is going to say. By the way, Nigeria is, from what I understand, they're very keen on joining the BRICS. So I'm positive that Nigeria is also coordinating with the Russians, and they're on the phone with Lavrov and Putin, and they're laughing at the situation that the European Union has dug itself into. So Ursula von der Crazy, she has also come out with a statement sounding the alarm that Russia can turn off the gas at any moment. This is what Ursula von der Leyen is warning all EU citizens. Ursula is saying that Russia will cut off gas deliveries sooner or later. She was giving an interview to Germany's DPA News, and she said that the Kremlin is not a reliable partner for Europe's energy supply. Gazprom has deliberately kept its storage levels low. In the meantime, Russia only supplies gas in part or not at all in 12 member states, von der Leyen said, adding that Europe must be prepared for the worst-case scenario, a complete halt to gas supplies sooner or later. Can you believe what von der Crazy is saying in this statement? She is absolutely lying, gaslighting the people of the European Union. She's gaslighting this German DPA News agency interviewer. She's actually making the claims that it is Russia that has decided to cut off gas to the European Union. It is Russia that is not delivering gas to all the EU member states. Was it not Ursula von der Leyen and the EC, the European Commission, just 2 months ago that was screaming about Russia's blackmailing of the EU with regards to gas after the gas for rubles scheme? Was it not Ursula von der Crazy who urged member states of the European Union like Poland and Bulgaria and Finland to not sign up for gas for rubles and to completely cut off Russian gas. That was Ursula von der Leyen. She was the one screaming, blackmail, they're blackmailing us with energy. Don't sign up for gas for rubles. No gas for rubles. Just say no. We're going to find a replacement to Russian gas. That was what Ursula von der Crazy was saying just a month, 2 months ago. Those were the statements. We're going to find a replacement for Russian gas. We're going to place an embargo on Russian oil and Russian energy, and we're going to not be dependent on Russian gas anymore. Wasn't Ursula von der Crazy the one that gave us Vandernomics? Wasn't that her economic philosophy, where she was saying that we have to increase our purchase of Russian gas in order to prevent other countries from buying that Russian gas at a higher price? I mean, she is all over the freaking place. She has no plan. She has no plan. She is lost. She is clueless. She is absolutely freaking incompetent. And now she is saying that Russia is not a reliable gas partner. Russia has been delivering gas to Europe since Soviet times, and even further. I mean, Russia has been delivering gas every single day since God knows how long. And no war, no conflict, no disagreements has ever stopped Russia from delivering that gas. What is stopping Russia from delivering the gas are Ursula von der Crazy's sanctions, are Ursula von der Crazy's lobbying to get certain member states of the EU to cut off their gas deals with Russia, all because Russia decided to implement gas for rubles. And why did Russia implement gas for rubles? Well, because there was no other way for Russia to safely get paid for the gas that they deliver. That's why, because of the sanctions that Europe placed on Russia, and because Europe stole 300 billion plus or minus of Russian foreign reserves, foreign currency. So, you know, these are just crazy statements from the EU. They're lying. They are completely lying, and they're trying to deflect the blame away from their botched sanction policies, their botched economic war of attrition, and they're trying to now once again blame Russia. It's Russia that's cutting off the gas. It's Russia that is supplying gas to Poland and to Finland and to Bulgaria. Russia said, we're not going to give you gas. No. That is not what happened. We all know that's not what happened. And to take things even further, I thought this is what the EU wanted. I thought the EU wanted to not use Russian gas because it funds Putin's war machine. So all of a sudden we're hearing statements from Annalena Baerbock and from Ursula saying that now they really love Russian gas and they want that Russian gas. If only the Russians would give them that gas. But the Russians just aren't giving them that gas. If only they would give them that gas, everything would be great. And let's not even talk about the turbine and the debacle between Schultz and Trudeau with regards to the Siemens turbine. Anyway, that is what is going on with the gas situation in Europe. It's a complete freaking mess. It is a complete freaking mess. So should we do a clown world? Let's see here. Let's do a quick clown world. And this has to do, once again, with Boris Johnson. He's not going to be prime minister soon, but he's still making clown worlds. So Boris Johnson, according to media reports from the Sunday Times, is contemplating another run for the job of prime minister on expectations that his replacement will struggle, opening the door for him to be restored to power. So Boris Johnson is betting on the fact that Liz Truss, most likely Liz Truss, will be such a terrible prime minister that the people of UK are going to be begging Boris Johnson to come back. Quote, Boris Johnson thinks whoever replaces him might be a disaster, and we could be back here in a few years' time, having lost a general election, looking for someone with the dynamism to propel the party back into power. This is according to the Sunday Times. Despite the series of scandals that led to his resignation, Johnson is convinced of his popularity with the party grassroots and the wider public. The Sunday Times said, multiple sources claims he believes he will one day return as prime minister, like his hero, Sir Winston Churchill. Oh my God, Boris Johnson, stop. I can't take any more. Please, Boris, go to somewhere. Just go somewhere, man. Just leave us alone. My God. You are an absolute freaking clown. One part of his statement is true. I have no doubt that his successor, whether it's Sunak or most likely Liz Truss, is going to be a complete freaking disaster. For this, I have no doubt. But really, the UK public is really going to want you back? Really, Boris? Is that what you think? Man, the ego on this guy. The ego on this freaking guy. Someone needs to hand Boris a mirror. Boris, this is you. Just take a look. This is you. Someone should show him the video where he was throwing that grenade yesterday during the training session with the UK and the Ukraine military in Yorkshire. Someone should show him that video and say, Boris, this is you, man. This is you. You're not all that, buddy. Anyway, he's got this damn Winston Churchill thing, just like he's got this Zelensky fetish. By the way, Boris Johnson's last trip, from what I understand, Alexandra was telling me that Boris Johnson's last trip is going to be to Kiev. He's going to make his third and final trip as Prime Minister of the UK to see Zelensky. Man, what is going on with those two? What are they doing together? I wonder, what are those two doing together? Is Boris going to have to get another nose operation when he returns after his third trip to see Zelensky in Kiev? Maybe Boris is going to smuggle Zelensky out of Kiev. Who knows? God knows. Things are going so bad in Ukraine right now that Zelensky just might hop on the flight back to London and just decide to reside in one of his big mansions that he's purchased in the UK. He's got the citizenship. He's got the cash sitting at some bank in the city of London. So who knows? Maybe Boris Johnson is going to return back to the UK with Zelensky in hand. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the video there. Coming to you from the Uruguay Square with our liberator of Uruguay, Mr. Artigas. What a cool statue. Very cool. I like it. All right. TheDuran.locals.com, everybody. Check out Alexander's channel. Check out the Duran's channel, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, and Telegram. Look for the Duran there. Look for me there. Look for Alexander there. Take care.